Right, well actually that went a lot better than I thought, but I'm just going to go and double check to see what her health is at the moment. I'm not seeing any nameless. Right, because you can see she's got that red glow going on around her, and I've brought her health down pretty low. But I'm being like really careful that there's none of these blooming nameless decide to show up, otherwise they're just going to give me notebook grief. That's what happened when I was trying to take down this 145, the blooming nameless kept showing up. So fingers crossed. So I expect that she'll give me a tail swipe at least. Hello? Anyone in? You can Diago from the stairs, you know, and come after me. Right. Oh, yes, I did bring my medical brews. Run away! Run away! Oh, she didn't. I thought she did. She didn't. Blast, she grabbed me, but she didn't impregnate me. Interesting. Try again. Ooh. Jeez Louise. Yeah, they can be pretty brutal, I must admit. It's in your best interest, you know. You know what you need to do. So do I, really. Come on. Seriously. You've got problems. You've got big problems at this moment in time. I don't know what that big green glow is. But... Oh, off Plura. Why is everybody wanting to get in my way here? I've got things to do here, you know. This is a rare opportunity, you know. You're spoiling it for me. Right, let's try again. Hopefully we won't have any more interruptions. Right, so I would expect it to at least give us a tail swipe. I mean, I could have really done with a better riot shield. I'm just like surprised. Over time I've sort of like probably thrown away some really good shields. For some strange reason. Are you going to bother or what? Oh! Oh, and now we've got a blow. Now we're a corner sort of deal with them. Please, please. I better go and check our health actually, because if that health's gone back up again, which might be a bit of a good thing to be doing. Right, go and check our health. Get a little spyglass out. We're still below. I'll tell you what. I'm feeling generous. Let's put the spyglass away here if we can. Grrr. Right, we're gonna get our little light out. So I'm gonna give you a bit of encouragement here. You know, you haven't got much left longer. Yeah, you haven't got much longer left. Right, plunk you over there. Right, shield number 3. Sounds like something out of Star Trek. Right, let's try again. So, I would expect her to at least give us a tail swipe, and then she's going to probably panic shoot. That's what they normally do. Come on! Are you going to at least try and... Oh, stroke, this shield's probably going to break next time. Given how much, like, or how little health you've got left, I'm surprised. So this is a bit of a problem. It's just grabbing me, but you can't actually grab me, if you know what I mean. Oh. I thought I heard a car or something. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem because she's having problems actually grabbing a hold of me because of the state she's in. Because you can see she did grab me. Aha! Go! Run away! Right, hello. That wasn't the plan. Right, so I'm just going to spam the medical brew. I mean, I've got a little box over there to keep some more shields. I mean, as I said, I don't know why I can keep some decent shields over the years because I've had some. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to base because I thought ahead about this. I've got a teleporter, so you can see, I mean, we've been down there and all over the place so far, so we're going to head back to base. Because I've got about half an hour to get some XP. And the one thing I like for XP is Spinos. This particular base is just kind of ideal. So look, there's like 5 levels straight up. I'm going to avoid the Carcanos because sometimes they've been able to pull me off the actual rock. So I want to be a bit careful. So there's 2 levels. That's 11 levels. Oh, what would happen to be going up against the Carcanos? I'm not interested in you. Go away. 22 levels. So the maximum is 75. Actually, you can dump a lot of this stuff. We're carrying way too much still. This is the downside. It's like, I've got to keep emptying in your pockets. Right, let's go and get that Spino over there. Oh, don't run away! I need your XP. See, now you've got me angle blooming traits. 29 levels. Right, you leave the Carcanos alone and just focus on me, will you? Oh, Sato. Let's just empty this one's pockets because they're just getting crazy. Have you got anything interesting here? Let me have it. Dump that. There's that Carcanos, that's good. Right, just focus on us. Need your feet. Now, the good thing about this river is that it's like a respawn rate's just, well, for me it's just like ridiculously high. It's seriously good. I mean, the Spino gets an advantage from being in the water, but our rock drift is like really well against Spino. Ooh, go, which way you go? Oh. Don't run away. Don't run away. I need your XP. Ah, you can't escape me. Oh no, we're going to be taking the nightmare out now. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Max level 75. Right. I mean, to be honest, I mean, even though this is a 150, I mean, there's no guarantee you're going to get any decent levels. It's just a roll of the dice, basically. So I've got to basically now just sit filling my thumbs for the next 26 minutes. Waiting for the progress. Then we'll see what we get, because as I say, it's entirely not random what stats this thing's going to end up with. And then comes a $64 million question of where do we go from there, because I want quite a few of these. I've actually got this one over here. This is Billy Bull. Now I was using him kind of like as a guinea pig. Basically, I was testing that trap with a level 25 Reaper Queen. So he tamed out, he got the full 75 levels It took me 10 minutes because I didn't have a teleporter to use at the time. But it took me, yeah, I still had quite a lot of time left because I was playing with the server settings to make sure that A, that the pregnancy would only last half an hour, and B, that the actual the baby would mature within, say, like half an hour. So yeah, I mean, he was 25 when I got him. He got full 75 levels, and I've been leveling him up since to get my polymer. He's my at the moment. He's my polymer machine. But this is where we need to be heading for, because I've just put a roof on there. I've left myself all of the bits and bobs that we'll be needing. I'll just double check everything's still in there. Yeah, I think we've got some spare pheromones. I've got tons of pheromones. I've got like getting on towards about well over 200 pheromones back in another cupboard somewhere. Down on the left hand side. But yeah, we'll be heading over here, so at least I'll be able to contain it. And what I'll have to do is, unlike him, I'll have to make sure I get it outside of this building before it fully matures, otherwise I'm going to have to take the door back down again. That's the reason I've got these foundations in. I have to take the entire door down to get them back out again. But anyway, quite a while left to go, so in the meantime I think I'll go and do an element run. Then once we're ready to have this pregnancy, I'll bring you back. I must admit, I love watching these timers. I mean, I've been out and done an element run, I've done like a polymer run, I've had plenty of time to spare, but I watch these timers. It's quite amusing, because like sometimes, like, you know, obviously like a timer goes down, but sometimes you see it then suddenly go back up again. So it's a bit weird. Right out of the air. Right, gotta go and grab him. Well, yeah, it will be him because it's a kingly prison. Right, so here you go. You can have some meat. Ugh, struth. That was painful, I bet. So it's a case of now, it's going to take about half an hour for this thing to mature. It's going to keep running around like an absolute idiot. And it's not going to pay any attention to me whatsoever until it gets to... I think it's when it gets from baby to juvenile, I can at least get it to follow me. The funny thing was when I was doing that with when I was doing like the imprinting with Billy Bob over there, even when he like got to adulthood, he still kept running away, and it was driving me nuts. I ended up having to put him into a cryopod and then throw him back out again eventually. I mean, because nowadays when the babies are born, the wandering's disabled, but he was just constantly wandering around. I got him to bury himself, and he still kept wandering around. It's like, man, this is nuts. But anyway, since I've already done this with Billy Bob, the imprinting should be fine. I've got it nicely set. As I say, it takes about half an hour for these things to mature. I've just got to basically keep up with it. I've got plenty of stuff on me. Tons and tons of different items that it might ask for. He was after things like walks, cuddles. Don't think he asked for particularly much, to be honest. But it's nicely separated out, so when I'd got him fully matured, he was fully imprinted at about 98% maturity, so the settings are working fine for me. For 30 minutes for maturation, which isn't that long, to be honest. I've spent days actually just literally trying to hunt down high level reapers, and that's the thing, is where to go next. But I'm just going to get this one fully imprinted. In fact, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's put it into a cryopod first. Oh, I can't because you're moving around. Stay still. Right, so I've put that into a cryopod because I've just had an idea. The thing is, that trap that we've got, I mean, it worked perfectly fine when I did it with when I got Billy Bob tamed up. The only thing is, if you leave the area, chances are it'll despawn anyway. But here's a thought. I'm gonna head back down to that area, because actually, did I put this thing in there? Oh, I can't, because I need to put it in the cryo fridge. I'm going to head back down to that area, and I'm actually going to, just out of curiosity, I'm just going to go and check and see if that thing's still around. I mean, I would expect it to despawn. I mean, part of the reason you have the foundations is so that the, you know, like your tribe mates can actually benefit from it. So it stops the actual Reaper from burying into the ground, in which case other people can actually, you know, take advantage of that one Reaper. Oh, I forgot you on fire. Sorry, I just dumped you down here without thinking. Right, me and Reaper Hunter are going to head back down there then. Turns out we can get another impregnation. I'll bring you back and let you know. Now I don't know if I'm lucky, but she's actually still here. I mean, there's an area around here where I've had to clear it out because there was like, I mean, there was actually a Spino standing right next to her when I got here. So I've been just clearing the area out, but I don't know whether having that teleporter has had any effect of her being here, because I remember when I went to test all this out and I got Billy Bob. I got him, I did the whole pregnancy, I got him matured, I went back using a teleporter and the Reaper Queen was still in the trap. Now, I left my dinos there, I went away for something, can't remember what, I think I went back to base to get something. I came back again and the actual Reaper Queen was gone. So, yeah, they can despawn. But I don't know whether that was just because of the fact my own dinos were there. But either way, this could be a lucky opportunity. So I'm going to see what state of health is in. Nope, that's the mistake I made with a 145 that I found. So stop. I'm not interested in your stats, mate. Anyway. 16, 15. Right, I'll tell you what, we're gonna get friendly here and we're gonna give you a bit of a bite. Not with a magnifier. Right, so that takes our health down quite a bit. I'm just gonna get out of there. It's part of the reason for doing it. I want to see what sort of stats I end up with you know, for the next one, because it's the same mother. Assuming this all goes to plan, of course, I'm jumping the gun, but assuming this all goes to plan, I'm quite interested to see if you do actually get these random stats, because that's what I've read about in the wiki. It's not something I really paid much attention to be honest. Because normally I would go back, and you know, you just go back and that's it. The Queen's gone. Haha. Right, so this should be interesting then. So we'll get this one sorted out. I don't know, I could go into a winning streak here, you never know. You never know. Right. Bit of a rinse and repeat job, hopefully. Ooh! Oh, that. Here, what's the name is? I think I'm thinking straight. Last thing I needed was a bunch of blooming, another blooming Reaper spawn there. Right, we're going to make a bad dash back to base. Get this one some XP. See how that one goes. See you in a while. Well, I did manage to get 6 of these Reaper Kings out of that 150 Reaper Queen, which is great, because that's basically how many I wanted, actually. I mean, I didn't want an entire army of Reaper Kings going up against the Alpha Rockwell boss. I mean, I could have done, but I'm going to have a bit of a mixture. But it's a case of, yeah, I mean, the stats do vary. Doesn't matter what stats the mother's got, that Reaper Queen, it's still random as to what stats the actual babies get. So we've got 6 of these, so they're level 225, so that's a 150 Reaper Queen, we get a level 150 Reaper King from her, and then depending on how much XP you can get while you're pregnant, you can get up to 75 levels added onto that. So in our case, yeah, we're right up to 225. So I've got 6 of them, and the actual stats, they're very much different. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, that's the highest health I've got, which is 15,860. Just trying to think the highest melee was about 360 something. Yeah, 367. That one's got the highest melee, but you can't do breeding or anything with these things. I mean, you can do cloning. The trouble is with the vanilla cloning chamber that you get, it doesn't clone any imprinting that you've given that dino, which is a bit of a pain. You can get around it with the S Plus one, but then you kind of like you've got an advantage over the game, really. I mean, I don't mind, you know, speeding things up and, you know, getting to my destination quicker, but here you've got a completely different advantage which you couldn't ever do within the official game. So yeah, I don't see me cloning using the S Plus chamber if I went down that strategy, but it'd be interesting to see how much it costs. Actually, I might test that out. But yeah, I mean, the stats are all random, but either way it still pays to go out, get as high a level as possible Reaper King, because I went out and got some lower level ones. So got a 145 there, so that was a level 70 Reaper Queen. This was a level 55 Reaper Queen. So it's a case of, you can see there their health is lower, their melee is lower as well. So yeah, I mean it's kind of strange, because like with other dinos usually you've got a certain number of levels and then a certain number of points go into a wild dino. The higher the level, the more points should be, you know, put into the stats. When you tame it though, the higher the level of the dino, the more taming points it gets. So like if you tame up like a 150 dino, say like a Rex, you'll end up with more taming points, so it can get up to all the way to 225, roughly 224 normally. Then if you say like you tame a level 31, that's not going to get as many taming points, whereas with these they still end up, it doesn't matter what level it is as a baby, and when it's going through that pregnancy you can get up to 75 taming levels regardless, which is this is definitely good. That I quite like that. But anyway, now at the point where I need to finish off these, because up at this stage all I've done is I've just basically gone through that pregnancy and I'll pop them into a cryopod as soon as I can, but now I've got to go through all that imprinting process, so I've still got to use the pheromones until it gets to juvenile, and then after that I can at least control it. I can at least tell it to like follow me, for instance, whereas while it's a little baby running around, it's just going to cause havoc. I mean, there's no way I can let it outside. So I'm going to go through the imprinting with all of these one at a time, so we should end up with at least better stats out of all of these once they're fully imprinted. And yeah, I only need to use the actual these Reaper glands that we've got down here, the pheromone glands. I only need to use those until they reach juvenile. Now it takes about half an hour for me to get through the whole process, so I'm going to do that off camera because it's just otherwise a normal imprinting process. And then once they get to adolescent, they can just, you know, feed from a trough anyway, and you know, I can leave them outside to then mature up after that. So I'll get on with that, and then once we're done, I'll bring you back. Well, we've now got all of our Reaper Kings matured, they're all fully imprinted, and I must admit the imprinting process, yeah, that was pretty straightforward. I mean, I deliberately set my server settings so that it would only take half an hour to mature one of these things, but yeah, no problems with the imprinting. Most of the time they were asking for cuddles and walks. Sometimes I got, you know, requests for the different types of imprinting things they asked for, you know, the berries, the vegetables, cooked meats and so on. But either way, we're actually done with that now. And I must admit, because of the results, I've changed my mind as to what we're going to do with Rockwell, because what I've done is I've dumped them all into a cryo fridge, because you get a lot more XP. If you leave your dinos just, you know, hanging around outside, they'll gain XP passively, but if you put them into a cryo fridge you get a 5% boost, and it really stacks. It's really good. I mean, I'm getting dinos up to like 50, 55 without that much time when they're spent in a cryo fridge. So for that reason, it just saves me the time of going up down the river, for instance, you know, leveling them by taking out spinos. But these are all the Reapers I've got, including somewhere among here I've got Billy Bob. Actually, I've dumped him back into the cryopod, because into the cryo fridge, because it's a case of he'll be able to get some more XP. But let's go through the results, because like I said, I've kind of changed my tactics now because of the results. So let's see who's got the highest health. Right, this one here has got the highest health, so that's 26,732 health. That compares to 15,860, so that's a 68% uplift in health just through imprinting. So that's a big boost. Now, if I look for the one that's got the highest melee, it's this one here. So this one's got 439 melee. That compares to 367 originally. So again, I mean, that's about a 20% boost. I mean, it's not big compared to health, but either way, when it comes to melee, it's still you know, something to look forward to. I really appreciate getting a big boost in the melee. I mean, my server settings, they're just on the defaults. All the other stats, they're on, you know, have like a 1 that they're set to, but health and melee deliberately get lowered. Otherwise, you just end up with like super dinos, just crazy OP dinos every time you level them, when you're doing mutations, when you're doing the imprinting. So they don't get as big of an uplift compared to the other stats, but either way, it's still a big, massive boost. And it, as I say, it's kind of like changed my mind in some respects, because I mean, you've got options here. I mean, we can keep going out there getting these high-level Reaper Kings, not to throw them into the boss fight, but you can also clone them. So grab this one. So this one's the one that's got the highest health. Now, what I've done is I've actually spawned in the vanilla version of the cloning chamber, just because of the fact that, to be honest, to me, it's just going to be a complete waste of time and resources actually making it and cloning these things. I think at the time kind of made sense, but when it comes to dinos that are imprinted, it's just crazy. I don't know what they were thinking. The S Plus version, but if you clone one of these with an S Plus version of the cloning chamber, you do get the imprinting, but with a vanilla version you don't. So if you think about it, if I clone that, instead of having a dino that's got about 27,000 health, it's got only 16,000 health. That's an 11,000 loss in health. That's a massive, massive loss, which makes it just, to me, just kind of pointless and crazy. I mean, it doesn't actually cost that much. It says it needs a 14,700 shards. Now, one element breaks down to 100 shards. I mean, I can do that in the replicator over there. So I could take this thing over to, say, Scorched Earth, for instance, do an Alpha Manticore run. You get 285 elements, so that's 2 clones I've got. So you could do that if you want to boost your numbers, but because I'm losing 11,000 health, it's just like, it's just nuts. So you think, well, in that case, do I go back out there and start, you know, breeding up more of these? Because my original strategy, I mean, I've done a lot of breeding with like Spinos and Megalos over there, for instance. But looking at the results of this, it's kind of like, well, it's a bit of a game changer for me. It's made me change my mind. Because if we look at the lower level ones, so that's a 130. So I think that was one that came from a 55 queen. That's a 145. So I think that came from a 70. Now if you look at these, they've got just over 21, getting on to 22,000 health. And that's just because we've imprinted them. We've given them the full 75 levels and we've fully imprinted them. Look at some of these on about 23,000 health. There's not that much in the health, you know, when you compare them. And yet the much lower levels, I mean, that's from a 150 queen, and that's from a 70, that's from a 55. I mean, Billy Bob here, he's actually from a 25 Reaper queen. I mean, I did put some points into his health, some into his melee, but he's still got a ways to go. I could probably get like another 18 levels out of him. It's part of the reason I've shoved him back into the level fridge, but I could get more levels out of him. But it's a case of, yeah, I mean, if I were to clone one of these and lose about 11,000 health, whereas if I just go out and tame up a low level Reaper King, it's like, there's just no contest. I may as well just go and get a bunch of lower level ones. There's literally no point in me cloning these higher level ones. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep these high level ones, and I think I'll just go out and get a load of just a mixture, to be honest. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to the alpha boss fight, Rockwell in particular, it's a one-off. It's a kind of an odd fight because you get the engrams at the end, you know, when you defeat them. You'll get a couple of rewards, you know, little trophies, what have you. But that's it. if you go up against the Manticore, or the Overseer, or the Guardians on the island, for instance, you're always getting element out of them. You don't get that with Rockwell. They've taken that reward out, which makes it a one-off fight. There's literally no point in doing repeated Rockwell fights. You're not getting anything for it. So it's like, well, all I need is a bunch of dinos to last, or at least one, to be honest. I just need one dino to last this fight. And then it's a case of, yeah, I mean, I can just hand my gear over, all the rewards, and that's it. We're done, we're finished, and don't have to do it again. So, my original strategy would have been to go in with like things like Spinos and Megalos, but if you think about it, I mean, those things, you've got to go to the trouble of spending a long time on the surface, getting decent saddles for them. Then you've got to go out and get all the resources for them. You've got to do a lot of breeding, a lot of mutations to get those levels up. Whereas with these Reaper Kings, there's no saddle. They get like an 80% resistance. As long as there's no lights, they're getting an 80% damage resistance anyway. So I was thinking, actually what I might do now is just go out and tame up like a mixture, just whatever I find, just mature them, fully imprint them, and then level them afterwards. And yeah, that could be interesting to see how that goes in comparison. Now, I do still need the not the artifacts, I still need the actual tributes. I mean, I've got some for from the actual Alpha Carcanos, but I still need some for the Basilisk and Reaper King on the surface, so I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time searching for those. Of course, that's all for another episode. Well, thanks for making it to the end of this episode. I really do hope you enjoy it. If so, then please leave a like, as it'll encourage YouTube's algorithms to suggest the video to others who might like it as well. If you have any tips or tricks for ARK, then please leave them in a comment below, as it would benefit anyone watching this. Though I appreciate any feedback at all, even if it's just to say hello. If you're new to the channel, then consider subscribing. It's free. Just remember to click the little bell icon though, as you should get reminders then when new content goes out. And if you'd like to support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon. Alternatively, there's the option to make a one-off contribution through PayPal. I've left links for both options in the description below. But above all, I hope you like watching these videos as much as I enjoy playing ARK. Bye!